What's up, Trevor?
Hey Jenna, how you doing?
I'm good. So we don't have Becca today. Um, Basically, we went to Beyond Wonderland. She was FOMO maxing because she wasn't there. And ultimately, I told her that I wasn't really a fan of the collapse remix that they played. She just quit the podcast.
Yeah, no, she freaked out. She went off to Detroit, and I think she's there now. So I said it was a work trip, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, she's probably not going back. No, just kidding. She couldn't make it today. However, for the first time in the Burnout Report history, we have a guest. So, uh, just a quick introduction for our guest. Um, our good friend Julian goes by the name of Treble when he's on the decks. Um, he has a bunch of gigs in Chicago. He's played a bunch of events, a bunch of parties, weddings, including my wedding, which was a blast. Um, yeah, we're super happy to have him on the podcast. Welcome, Julian.
Sup guys, sup Trevor, sup Jonah, hi Becca. Not here to replace you. I also FOMO maxed on Beyond Wonderland, so I'm happy to be here today. It's a pleasure. Love hanging out with the boys. Longtime friend of Jonah, new friend of Trevor, but feels like glue. It's great. It's been great getting to know him. But yeah, as Jonah was saying, I've been DJing now for like 10 years. It's crazy to like put that number into into the world. And yeah, it's just been crazy doing all these different side quests just for the love of the game.
DJing is it's an art of side questing, and getting gigs, like playing gigs.
100%.
When I asked you to DJ our wedding, you were like, you were you were very tuned into the fact that, I mean, my wife is Filipino, obviously, and you're like DJing for our squad of friends who love EDM, and also DJing for the titas, the aunties, and the uncles, right? And you knew exactly what to play, and which is amazing, right? And I also just need to speak to like your range and just the events. Like, can you just talk a little bit about like the different types of gigs you've played at and the different types of crowds you've played for?
Yeah. I kind of really just got my start at for my fraternity and using a laptop and virtual DJ and computer speakers because I went to another fraternity party and I was like, wow, that's sick. We need this. And then my college roommate Scott had his little tractor board and I messed around and kind of just started off in that ballroom space, I guess, doing like um formals and after parties, lots of shady Chinatown bars that I still do today. Um and just recently I've been working with this banquet hall in North Side where it's like um I did a quinceanera there. I did a Ukrainian dance music night there. I did a wedding there, and especially with weddings, it's always an honor when a friend of mine. I always prefer to do a wedding with someone that's somewhat connected to me. It's less pressure if I have some sort of familiarity with like their music and their taste, and I just love being able to like find that connection at every event that I'm at. I will say it can get draining though doing weddings and um you have to find a space to like say no if you don't really vibe with the person or like what they're asking for. Um but I just love DJing. I love like providing a space and like talking to people at whatever event they're at, like just with the tunes, you know? Um and yeah, I just feel like as a DJ, like the more random side quests that you just happen to fall upon, like just you only gain more and more experience with like reading a room, you know? And I feel like that's what's become nowadays. I don't really like practice. I practice like learning different genres and like mixing between the two instead of like the fine details of like EQing, you know?
Yeah, it's just one of those things as a DJ is like you care so much more about the finer details than the people on the dance floor do. The people on the dance floor care about how the music makes them feel and how it makes them move. The only people that care about DJs transitions and shit like that are other
Other
DJs.
DJs.
Yeah. And DJ girlfriends, dude, I swear.
No, but, like, the things that crowds do notice, though, are, like, how the set flows, like, if things are too high energy for a while, like, it can get tiring if you're not mixing things up enough or, you know, playing to the crowd. My biggest, like, flaw as a DJ is just, getting way too deep and not finding any way to, like, connect it back to, you know, things that people like, you know, the which I know you do a great job of adding the, I've seen you DJ and add in, like, acapellas live on the fly, and I think that's, like, such a cool thing to be able to do that. I usually reserve that for making, like, edits and stuff, but it's cool to have that skill in the toolkit too, to have that, like, connection between
Yeah,
the popular and the mainstream and, like, house and other forms of dance music, so
of course. And everyone always has their preferences with dance music, but like I like unapologetically love pop music,
yeah,
you know?
of course.
So it's just like if I can find any way to like convince you to liking electronic music with some sort of Rihanna vocal, then like I did my job, you know?
No, yeah, there's so many people that are, like, doing that with, like, original stuff nowadays too, like, you see how, like, Weethan's popping off and, like, Costa, I think is how you pronounce it, like, how his entire thing is, like, the remix catalog, just making things into bangers, like, it's a great way to get the genre out,
100%.
to get the, just the experience of, like, dance music. 'Cause I like, when Weethan started making his, like, bass remixes, I had people who had never known what a dubstep was, just like, oh, like, I think I like this, like, I think this is, like and these are people who had never been to, like, a rave or an EDM show in their life, so it's definitely cool from the perspective of bringing people in. I think that's just, like, why, like, some DJs are where they're at is just their ability to do that, like, so well, you know? I think that's a fun thing. I remember your show, at Recess that I went to recently, there was just, like, a ton of that, and that was a crowd that was, like, a mix of dance music enthusiasts, like, super, like, regular people, and, like, everybody's having a good time, everybody's dancing, you know, it was fun.
It was just so funny. Like I felt like all my different experiences over the years like rolled into one.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a great stage, great sound, professional setup. Like who doesn't love spinning on 3000s, you know? But like also had requests for hip hop, requests to like I think some girl ran up to me. I have it on video too. I just didn't want to I didn't I edited it out, but like oh, me, Jeremy and I, my friend, shout out Cash. We were when we were B2Bing, like we got a little bit deeper towards the end, playing some heavier stuff, and like I think I remember playing the San Francisco Hamdi edit, and then immediately I see all the boys and on all of our squad like vibing with it, and like these randos behind me, and then just like it was packed there, and, like she had to like bite through the crowd and be like, "Can you please play more hip hop remixes?"
Just, like, immediately you play bass, and it's just someone is just materializes, and it's
Yeah.
like, "Can you play something else? Can you go back to what you were playing before?
Right.
You play not this?"
So I guess like she liked the hip hop remixes and wanted more of that. But she draws the line at bass house remixes.
Yeah, 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 you can't, like, I did do I think San Francisco is such, like, an iconic melody and vocal, and I think of it that way, but, like, to someone who's, like, never been to a house show, like, doesn't really know Dom Dolla, like, that probably wouldn't, like I don't know if that would hit the same for me if I was just, like, completely going in blind to something like that, but, dude, Hamdi's a weird one for me because, like, I feel like everybody who's tapped into dance music, like, loves him, but when I've showed, like, any Hamdi stuff to, like, someone who's not into EDM, they're like, "What?" They're like, "What is this?" Like, "What so many quacks," like, it's like
What one of my homies at Coachella was said that Hamdi is just evil Sammy Verji. And I'm like, that is so true.
Sammy Virgie?
They play all the same vocals, just like different flips.
Oh my god, actually yeah, wow, I never thought about that.
that is true. They're just kinda like they're like, they're definitely, like, at the forefront of, like, the UK bleed that's slowly but surely, like, come into the US dance scene. They're, like, everywhere.
Yeah. But, so Julian, you told me one time that you, I don't know if you would necessarily would say you, like, looked up to him or were inspired by him, but but why, you know, you know, Yosuke, you said that you admired him for, like, for popping off, for being, like, just a DJ, right? And not being, like not having a big like kind of deep production background or anything like that, but like really just popping off as a DJ. And then of course he's got some pretty like top spots on lineups lately, and he's got really really big shows. So I guess like I don't know what like you're more of a curator, right? You're not like saying, "Hey, look at this like snare that I made, and I'm gonna like, put this into a song," like like spacely. But we're like, I'm gonna curate the vibe, which is everything that we've been talking about. Um, so I don't know, like, what do you like? I don't know how do you go about like reaching into your bag at a show? Maybe you're not prepared for the crowd, or you are kind of like you know, hitting it on the fly? Like, how do you go about?
Um, I feel like just in general, I like to describe my DJ style of just like late 2016 trap music, where it's just like fast and hard switches, but like not limited to like mixing in that genre. And when I'm trying to feel out a crowd, I kind of just apply that mindset of just like, okay, I'm gonna run through all these tracks that I know in each bucket of genre, like is a banger to somebody in that scene, and then just kind of really just seeing what vibes and what reads the room. And it's really easy to achieve that when you like layer pop music, right? But like it's more than it's also like seeing how they dance to the drums, or like a reaction to some edit of Buy You a Drink. And like, there's so many different remixes of different songs that like that's kind of the fun of it too. It's like there's so many different tracks that I'm just sitting on that I haven't been able to play out because I haven't found an appropriate time for it. But like those moments, like when you pull out that, you know, 70 likes on SoundCloud weekly wave drop, and then someone at the crowd looks at you, they're just like, "That was sick."
I feel great.
Yeah.
No, it does feel great. Do you notice once you like reel people in and you get like a cohesive like dancey floor going that you I feel like when I've gotten to that point, you get a little bit of like leeway where you
You've
can
earned their trust.
yeah, where you earn their trust. You've earned their trust a little bit. You can kind of like maybe get a little weirder, more like in tune with like your own bag, and like people keep going with you. Like you might lose a little bit, and you can kind of venture back into the more like safer spaces. But I'm sure you notice that when you're like going, that you kind of like you have a little bit more freedom of exploration after you've gotten that first like banger out that's got everybody
Right.
dancing. So
And I feel like once you're in that flow, no matter how long I've been doing this, it'll still surprise me, like, when someone will come to me and, like, request a song, especially when they're coming from a crowd that is all dancing, all bumping.
yeah.
It's like, call it confidence or whatever, or audacity. I'm not trying to flame people who do that. It's just like, um, but on the dance floor, I feel like there is that, for lack of a better term, mob mentality. If other people are dancing with it, you give it a chance, you know? It's like, okay, like, I see, you kind of understand, oh, that's why these people like this song, like, the energy I'm getting from them through the deck.
No, it's a human trait that if you see people doing something like together, I notice it when we're going out to shows. Like, if somebody's like not feeling it, like it could that energy can kind of be like pervasive, but if someone's feeling it, I think it's really easy for everyone else to get into it. I was noticing that like yesterday at Beyond Wonderland, like when I was like seeing people in our group having fun, I'm like, I'm more inclined to have fun now just because like it feels like safer, and in a place of like expression where maybe not everyone's like comfortable like doing that, on a dance floor. I know in bars and stuff when everybody's drunk, that's like a super common thing and inhibitions are pretty low. But in like a different setting space, it can be harder to like express yourself. And it's like much easier when you see people going hard and having fun. So
I feel like I'm always, like, whether I'm on the decks or not, I'm constantly DJing everything in my head. It's like I have this touch tunes in my brain, and I'm like, okay, what if this song was playing right now? How would that person feel? Like, I love feeling from like a cute way. I love watching people, not watching people, listening to people listen to their music.
It's like the meme of the guy in the corner with a drink where like everybody else is dancing.
yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but what if I played this like Hamdi edit right now?
Right. you can't fall into that trap though, because then you become that person and with the Snapchat like request to the other DJ.
Yeah, and you're like, "Well, I actually wouldn't I actually know what I would what the right thing to play here is."
Dude,
And it's actually a song with 70 likes on SoundCloud.
talking about Hamdi edits, like one thing I find so funny, if you're like throwing a little bit of dubstep into a set and you just see like people that are dancing to dubstep for the first time and like they're trying to figure it out. There may be like they're like learning how to dance to dubstep because it's just like a whole different thing like than dancing the house. And like once you get it. But like the first time, like I've done that at some of like playing to a more mainstream crowd, I'll like sprinkle in a little dubstep, but then it's just like people are like learning on the fly, like how does my body want to move to this? So
You just
it's so awesome.
they're like, "Time," like,
Yeah.
but it's faster, but slower.
It's just yeah, it's like I think it'd be so fun to like go back and listen to like dubstep for the first time and be like,
No, that's so funny. I was during COVID, I did these streams like back to back weekends, and first the stream was like a more hybrid trap dubstep set. And then I did a house set like for the next stream, and my mom watched both of them, and she was like, I actually liked your first one a lot better. And I'm like, no way. That my mom preferred the dubstep set over like house hits that even she knows. I'm like, I think I've just unlocked her brain to what
yeah,
like
it's
dubstep is.
awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so you think your mom was, like, learning how to dance to dubstep when she was watching your
Yeah,
stream?
yeah, definitely. She's usually cooking when she's listening to my mixes or at the gym. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's actually so funny that your mom was like super into that stream, man. Awesome. Have you been I know you've done a few this year, but where does like the live streaming aspect? I know you've done a few like DJ streams and posted them. Where do you see that like fitting in? Is that like a promotion tool, just like a way of expression? Like
I think it's a little bit of both. Like in my journey of just posting mixes, I just realized I've posted my 40th like track on SoundCloud, which is insane. And like it's more so like feel like when I first started, the SoundCloud was kind of enough to get attention and like get people to listen. But what I changed this year is I'm committing myself to putting out more mixes, but also the filming piece. Um, and I don't know, it's a way to promote, but also it's like a new thing of content for me to even just try out. Like, and YouTube in general is just like a great space now. I feel like I listen to most sets like just working on YouTube versus like SoundCloud or Mixcloud. So just like putting my hand in that space and like solidifying a new audience outside of SoundCloud. And it's been a lot of fun too. It's like experimenting with different shots and angles and places and but in an authentic way where I'm not just like trying to like farm for content. Like I'm first and foremost, I'm making a mix and then the video comes after, you know?
yeah.
It's tough though because it's kind of as I've gotten older, like when there's a mess up, I'll like fix it in post, but when you're filming, it's gotta be perfect.
Yeah.
So
No, I know, dude, the extra pressure of having to like, nail every transition and like it's a lot, but the finished product's so cool. Like haven't seen like some of your video content with the music, man. It's super fun to watch. So
appreciate it.
um but I feel like that's like something that I've seen like a lot of DJs do, and some of it I've like the craziest one I ever saw was this dude who did a live DJ set in front of an active volcano. This guy Habitat, who's like his whole thing is around like nature based and house music. But I'm like, dude, that's insane. You're just like, there's like an active volcano like erupting behind him.
Saw some guy use the Omnis Duo on a windmill and it was like a deep dub set and it was crazy. I couldn't tell you the DJ name. It just popped up on my YouTube and I listened to it and it was insane.
That is definitely, like, a YouTube algorithm thing of just, like, I'm gonna DJ in, like, the craziest place. I mean, we'd probably watch these sets anyway, but they do them in the craziest places.
But also like to your earlier point, Jonah, about like Yusuke Yusukematsu and like just curating and for DJing and filming. I feel like the post COVID content space has opened that door to like just be the best DJ you can be. And I feel like the video piece like just helps promote that. You know, it's hard if you're just like scrolling through SoundCloud, you find a mix like and they're not a producer, like great, it's a mix, but when you see the art like in person, live, someone doing it, like it has a whole new piece of just like, okay, you can just like be a really good DJ and like share that talent with the world, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and like that's the output, which is why like what you're saying, like the mix is like the focus. You know, the video is extra. The video is, you know, it helps and it's cool, but like the mix is like your output. You know, your tracks on SoundCloud, like the mixes, like those are all like creative outputs.
Do you have a like and this I know with over 40 mixes on SoundCloud, it's probably gonna be hard to pick, but do you have one that like stands out to you as like your favorite thing you've ever put together?
It's hard because I feel like just my methodology for mixes is like all of my favorite songs of that quarter,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no, totally.
Um, and I guess when you're as my music taste has evolved too, there's definitely some mixes I don't want to go back to, but I don't want to remove. Um, but I just feel like my most popular one like feels good. It was like the fourth mix I ever posted. It hit like 20K plays, and I was like, wow, this people are listening. Like I'm not just some like there's people in like different countries. I'm looking at the stats, and like I think the craziest story from that is my sister's college roommate. First day, like she goes, takes a shower, and then just hears my DJ tag, like, ladies and gentlemen, troublemaker from her Bluetooth speaker in the shower. And then my sister's like, are you listening to Treble on SoundCloud? She's like, yeah, this is my favorite mix, like of all time. And then like I looked at my listeners, I'm like, oh my God, this is your friend. And like it's crazy. Like this sharing that and a very vulnerable part of just like music that energizes me and like having people that like I don't know. It's cool. That's why I keep doing it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild. I feel like when I like there's a couple times where like, you know, since we started this podcast, like one of our like YouTube shorts or like Instagram reels would like randomly get to someone that I like know that didn't know we had a podcast yet. And then it's like they're like, oh wow, cool. And I'm like, oh, nice. That's cool. But for you for for someone to have a favorite mix and it's your mix and it's someone that you like knows someone that is close to you, like that's nuts, man. Like that's, like, not even I mean, I would assume that's not even, like, an algorithm thing at that point, like, that's just, like, you put something out and someone found it. So cool. And a lot of people found it.
Yeah, and I also think in a world where, attention spans and everything are trending like shorter and shorter, like we're in a time where like long form content to consume is like very important for people, you know. I think there have been a lot of like, I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, how there's a lot of negative effects that have kind of like displayed in the music scene because of the attention span thing. Um, when someone is able to like put a mix together that's like cohesive and flows and like keeps you listening, it is like so important for listeners to have that uh, experience that's not like overly reliant on like special moments or like things happening or like crazy production to keep you like hooked. Cause coming to EDC, like we were all there. It's like that place is just meant to, capture your attention for like every second. But I don't think a good DJ set is necessarily like the best thing to do that. There's like slowdown points. There's moments where you're not supposed to be like going hard. There's moments where you have to let like the songs breathe and like the mix breathe. And I know that's not everybody's like style of DJing, but I just think it's like important to do things to like kind of move the needle back the other way now that everybody's attention spans like 8 seconds on average. Like like I think someone like picking up a mix on SoundCloud, like listening to the whole thing, that's like important. Like when I post mix and I see like comments at like the 30-minute mark, I'm like, yes, like that's really good. I'm like, people are like actually like listening through this. That feels like really good to me. Like when I release a mix every year or two. So
I got my first hater comment recently, and I was like so happy because I was honestly like elated. I'm like, oh my God, people don't like it. And like, it's like someone felt the need to be like, this shit is ass. It was at like 24-minute mark of like my March mix this year.
24 minutes of
Yeah. And there was like a Paramore, All I Wanted, Lockers, remix, and like before it even dropped, this guy's like, "This shit's so ass," like skull emoji. I'm like, I just liked it, and like, I was so happy. I don't know.
I'd say that's an accolade.
No, it's like when you have haters, like for the most part, I'd say like when you have a healthy amount of hate, like you're doing something good, you know. Like not everything is for everybody, within reason, you know. Like within reason. If it's based on like something like music taste, it's like I get that from my friends all the time when I like send them a song and they'll be like, "This shit's garbage." I'm like, "Good, but it was worth the try. I like it." Like there are things that I hate too. Like nothing's for everybody. So like it's good, man. I think like a healthy amount and like you know you said it's your first one, but like dude, people in the mainstream and like fucking touring artists, they're getting hate all the time. It's like they're doing a cool thing and they've like gotten to a point. So and dude, you've like you've got a like I feel you've got a steady stream of shows coming in Chicago. So like I think like having seen you a few times now, man, you're doing like a really cool thing. So of course.
So you got Castaways in 3 weeks, June 27th, and then you got another Castaways show in September. Do you have other gigs?
I have one in July that I haven't posted about yet, but at Teto Rooftop for Azure Day Party, which I'm excited for because I'll be like support for CJ named No Static, which is cool. He has a few releases on Experts Only, so I'm like, it'll be. I'm excited to like just meet another person and like, you know, have a new crowd to play for. You know, he has a few sets on YouTube that I listen to at these like clubs around, and yeah, it'll be cool. Um, it's a lot of house, and I'm more of like a UKG hard groove guy, but like that's kind of like the fun part of like curating a set. You know, it's I just kind of see what they have and try to emulate that energy, but also being unique. Those are the ones I have um booked so far, but hopefully I'm in talks with a few other booking companies and promoters around town that want to do events too. So it's a perfect like cadence for being like 30 and getting prepared to get married. So it's like having like one show a month is like my dream, you know?
Dude, I mean, that's great. Like, how has it been, I mean, working with promoters in Chicago? Is it easy? Is it frustrating? Is it
Uh, it's it's always a hit or miss, like the amount of times like I've played at wherever and they like just haven't paid me or like ghosted me or like they changed booking managers or like they ask for proof of ticket sales or they just like it's always funny like when you meet a new promoter and like I gauge like their commitment to the music based on like the first thing they ask me, if they ask me for my SoundCloud first, then I will entertain this whatever opportunity you have. But like if like the first thing is like, how much money can you make or how many tickets can you sell prior to like the art that I'm trying to bring, that's kind of what turns me off. But I've just been, I guess, blessed enough to like not have to be able to turn down gigs, and get enough traction and just I don't want to say respect for myself because that's mean for some of the events that I've been asked to do, but just that general vibe. It's like it feels good to be able to like be confident enough in like to what I bring and be like, no, I'm not going to do this event.
just like, if you're a DJ, you wanna play, you wanna get in front of a crowd. But I mean, so you did the powder show at Recess, and then you also did that St. Patty's Day gig, and that was like that seemed when you told me about kind of how that worked, and like the the thing with like the number of tickets you sold through your link, and then getting your time slot based on that, like it seemed like a good mix of kind of what you're saying about how much money can you make and how big of a crowd can you get, and then also like you know kind of like a good I mean, it seemed like a good level of, like, above board and a good event, and we all had a really good time, and we really enjoyed it, and it was like and it also seemed like a good way to showcase your DJing too, and, a great way for you to make content, and it seemed seemed like a good way all
Yeah, yeah. And I definitely like with different events and opportunities, sometimes you just make concessions and like the the circuit, the scene that Thank You for Dancing in Chicago has curated is like something I really, really like mess with and like I just really enjoy like what they're trying to bring. But of course, somebody's gotta pay the bills. You know, like it's also why I would pick up weddings sometimes, you know, sometimes you just gotta not to say like I'm sucking my pride to do these shows. Like I'm so honored, it's so fun. But in a way it's also I don't want to say fair, but like it works. Like it works for them. They pay out. Like it's actually I have to develop an invoice and like it was kind of cool. Make a business account for them. It's all above the books. All everything is like very laid out and like open and honest and like they care about the music too. You know, so just like right place, right time. Met some great people and just been riding it as long as I could. And continue to do shows with them. Um,
around. It scales, right? I mean, it's like
yeah,
it all makes sense.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
wins, pretty much.
Everybody wins.
We win by, by enjoying your show and, we'll go on stage and, get to jump around behind you. That's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
No, I like when things like feel like a correct level of fair, with, the compensation and like because I think like what I realize is like sometimes to do something like that I've really wanted to do, like it wasn't, the best in that regard. But when you can find a good balance where it's like a good party and like all your friends can come and you can get like a lot of other people supporting you as well, that's like a great thing, man. So I'm glad you've been able to find that. As like a music focused podcast and having you on here, just in like 2026 and like coming into the summer, what has kind of been like at the top of like your musical influence, like coming in, like just new stuff you've been listening to, new genres you've been messing with, maybe not new genres, but just like what's been just like top of mind for you as you're like integrating new stuff into your music and your DJ sets.
That's a great question. Because like I was saying before, I'm very ADHD in how I choose my music. Like I find a song, click like, download it immediately. Sometimes I don't even listen all the way through. I'm like, okay, I'm in. But right now, um, I feel like as you mentioned earlier, with like this wave of UKG coming in, and I feel like I'm like right in that sweet spot where like I can dig through all these crates of like the likes of like Silva Bumpa, IPC, and that's kind of like the wave I'm on, like kind of bringing UKG hard groove and like meeting like the house heads in the middle because I feel like that's a big like forward genre of a lot of the shows that I've been going to, but like giving um, people that space, introducing them to UK Garage as in Chicago has been super great, and like that's been a big focus of mine in these coming shows. Just like um, you know, sounding different, but also introduce people to new sounds, and the hard groove space is just so big, and I love diving into it.
Hard groove, groovy, all sorts of groovy techno, just so awesome to me. Just like some of the people who have like kind of been at that like intersection of like hard groove and like hard house and like a little bit of like the trance stuff. Dude, that stuff's been so fun to dance to for me. There was just I was just at Movement and got to see DJ Heartstring and X Club go back to back playing like a ton of like hard groove. Yeah, a ton of like hard house, a ton of trance. Like that set was just so much fun. And they went into, Kiki who's doing more of like the techno trance thing, dude. And I think like that like style of techno and like the fat like garage stuff and like trance stuff that's coming in, I think it's like very accessible to people. I think a lot of people are just really like vibing with that. And it's like faster than most dance floors are used to. Chicago, it's a house city. Like
I feel like you can trick Chicago house heads with like a good four on the floor, you know.
Yeah, I was listening to DJ Heartstring today, walking just on a walk. So, uh, not like super familiar, but yeah, I was listening and
DJ Heartstring did a set at Electric Forest last year that was during the Levity Cranked At Tape B. back to back. And I'm not gonna lie, there was like 30 people there because everybody was at that set, and I was just in heaven, man. That was like one of the best, like just being in an empty stage. Like they weren't quite like I think they're probably a little bit bigger today than they were a year ago, especially in rural Michigan. But that it was just such a cool thing to see. And then they went right from them into main phase back to back IPC with the crowd maybe grew from like 30 people to like 100 people, but it was still just like I was having like an awakening to because I'd never seen it on that sort of like stage with that sort of production. I'm like, holy, if you like equal the playing field and give them like the best production in the world, it is like just as fun as maybe even more fun than like seeing like a dubstep or house show with that production because that's all I've been used to on like big festival stages. I'm not talking like small club stuff, but I'm like, wow, when you like level the playing field, this music is so fun, like so danceable and like pairs really well. It's like this is like more underground club stuff, but like it works super well on main stages too. It's like it's cool to see how that's kind of become a thing. So yeah, I know one thing I see is like you've posted clips from your sets with like smaller UKG artists like shouting out and like, dude, I know that guy. I have like 5 songs like from him on tap. I know you mentioned Blockers, who's sick, putting out some like really cool stuff. Right now, who are some like more up and coming like UKG producers that you find yourselves like, pulling songs from and
No, it's actually, I feel like right now, um, I've been leaning on like the bigger UKG names because I didn't really dive into them as much as before, So I've been, like I was saying, I've listened a lot of IPC, I've listened a lot of Hans Glider. And I thought he was small, but then I look at his following and it's gigantic.
Probably all other DJs.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like I'm like educating myself on like what was already big, so like it can help prepare me find and like wade through like the smaller artists and know like okay, if like this song is that big, then like what elements from this song is like works for like up and coming stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, right now I downloaded a bunch of Harrison like flips like last night, like maybe 5 songs.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if I've heard that name before.
Yeah, and another one of those like yeah, Harry Sun.
Oh,
Okay.
Harry Sun, 2 words.
Yeah. No, one word. But spelled Harrison, but Sun. And yeah, another one of those like not too many likes, but it bangs and just gonna play it.
Sick. Hell yeah. I mean, it's. I think it's amazing. Like I don't know. It's like just from what we were talking about in the beginning, right? Where you're playing to a crowd, you're feeling out the crowd, you're getting their trust, and this feeling of like I gotta get this crowd of people on my side, and then the other side of it is other DJs like Trevor being like, oh yeah, I know that artist you're playing. I know it's a deep cut, but I know that artist. I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful.
No, it is really cool. I think one of the coolest things is like, as someone who DJs is like when someone has a song, you're like, I have that on my USB, and it's like so cool that like you also have this track, which is like a weapon.
And this
It's
is like,
cool.
and then when you were what we were talking about before, where you're like in your head, you're like, this is what I would play. They're actually already playing it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it's
they already
great.
have that track.
Yeah.
I love that shared culture of DJing also, where like someone can make this crazy like language flip and then like Porter will play it on the main stage of EDC. And like I love when I see like these smaller DJs like find their song on a stream, record it, post it online. Like I'm just like I'm so happy for you. It's like just the people are ready to share other people's music.
I actually had a friend from Seattle. I have a few like friends out there who's a DJ and was like, "Hey, can you go to this Bubble Up show tonight?" Because like she just downloaded my song on SoundCloud before her Chicago set. Like go and like record it if it happens. And I was like already going to a different show that night. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But I'm like, it's so funny. I've never been in that situation where I'm like, oh wow, this big DJ could play out like a friend's flip. Yeah.
Oh, because it shows you on the
Yeah.
on the
What if no one's there to record it? Because we would just like across the country. I'm like, that was so funny to me.
someone played out one of Jeremy's flips.
Oh
Mhm.
really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, and I know it's like they've definitely seen that with Scott Immerse, but seeing it happen with one of Jeremy's flips was great. So yeah, it's just a great thing to see.
Um,
Um, so another pretty big piece of news is that we got a new Skrillex album on Friday.
Oh, yes, we did.
he's just dude. He's just always
He's just the goat, bro.
enigma to me, just in the way he thinks about arrangement and his tracks and sound design and I feel like he's just always trying to one up his prior work.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
This was like one of the like cleanest, most unique listening experiences I think front to back I've had in a while. And I think it's just something that like I think of like good dance music albums and like good listening albums is like two separate things, and this was just something that I'm like it met right in the middle, and it was like both of those things somehow. Um, just so many bangers, but also just like such unique, such a unique production that I was blown away. I'm sure you guys feel things about it too.
Every Skrillex album in the past like 5 years is it's so unique. I feel like if you listen to him enough, you know what songs from which album. And I just love how this one, like Skrillex has always had a crazy like Latin influence on his music, especially of recent times. But I love how he doubled down on it for
Yeah,
this album.
I love that.
And it's so sweet. It's just like another way of just like I don't think Skrillex needs to convince people to like his music, but just having all those influences, like, just gets more of like a reach and that can speak to way more people, you know?
I mean, like Skrillex, like he didn't like do this, but he completely like shifted how the US like the mainstream thought about like 140 and like UK influence stuff. Not that it wasn't a thing, not that weren't already so many people pushing that culture in the underground, but I think Skrillex really opened that up to like having like 140 like American and UK artists, like having them come over and be on like major lineups and like with Quest for Fire, which was a very UK dubstep inspired album, but like I think what he's done here is just gonna open up a whole new wave of like bass music and techno and like from his now like Berlin influence and his Latin influence and like there's so much going on and it's so exciting and like I sometimes feel like dance music like feels a little stale before Skrillex like does something and then he'll just like flip it on its head. I'm like I don't think it's stale anymore. Like this shit's so like fresh and cool. Like
Dude, I sent that song Noche Without You to a few friends who they're not as into the EDM side of things, but a lot of them do listen to like more Latin music, and so I sent it to them. Guys, I mean, this is the overlap for us. Like this, I don't know if they listened to it because they were like Skrillex. I'm not gonna listen to Skrillex, but like, so I don't know if they listened to it, but I was like, dude, this like the vocal feature on that, like, it's truly just, I mean, he's even made other ones like that song, Volver,
yeah.
I'll go like, it's just it's like it gets me into other sides of music that I want to. So, and I'm probably if I were to tell that to myself like 8 years ago, saying like Skrillex is gonna help you get into Latin music, like I wouldn't believe you, but yeah, so I love that. I think it's great, but also just that like feral feeling of that I feel when I listen to Soma. It's
Oh
just
my
Yes, it's
insane. Like,
such an amazing opener.
dude, I mean, I heard it live a couple times, like, outside of seeing Skrillex, like, Peekaboo played it
yeah.
at Ramova, and just the feeling that I feel when I hear that song.
It is a very dude,
It's
it awakens something. Feral is like the perfect way to describe it, just with like the drawn out build up and you kinda hear the
yeah.
bass like starting to like
Yeah, like a
bubble up.
little flute
Yeah.
sound, kinda it feels like a little jungle vibe going on.
I do have a hot take about Skrillex releases, though. I feel like sometimes, it's the nature of just us being so electronic music focused and going to shows and catching sets. Sometimes I feel like the releases are like teased and played out by so many people, but by the time they release, I'm like, oh wait, this just came out. Like I'm like not as excited about it as I was before, especially like Liz ISO collabs. I feel like everyone drops them and they're all bangers. And by the time they release, I'm like, wait, I already have like 3 rips of this of this edit on my USB, and now it's coming out.
That's
There's like, you like don't even know because it's just so like widespread. Like, yeah, I totally get that. Like, Jonah, we heard Soma for the first time, if I'm not wrong, at Ultra.
oh yeah, it was
Well,
he played open.
Yeah, he opened with Ultra with it at Ultra in 2025, and I'd forgotten about it.
Well, it had another name. It was Pusha. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's Pusha,"
Yeah.
with Night Punk. And then we saw it on Instagram like 50 times. We're all sending it to each other, like, and it was great. It's like awesome. And then it's like, okay, yeah, now it's on. Okay, like now I can put on my Spotify playlist. It's like
Yeah, he definitely has like a group chat of like leakers. It's like for real, just like, yo, play this out because I'm Skrillex and you're gonna do it.
Yeah, no, dude. What DJ is turning down an unreleased Skrillex track? Dude, I feel like someone at Arc would play an unreleased Skrillex track if they got it. Well, he gives a lot of his stuff his house now, like that makes sense. But dude, no one is turning that down. Yeah.
oh, I mean, even Solomon opened his EDC site with a Skrillex track.
No way, that's awesome,
You were
dude.
not there for it, sadly, but like,
You just missed it.
yeah, we just missed it after wherever we were. I totally forgot.
What do you guys think of the album cover art for this album?
I don't know how to unpack it quite. Here, there's some deeper meaning there, but like, I haven't quite.
I would say for me, sending it to my friends who are not as into it, it didn't help. It didn't help them.
I feel like he's playing into like the every different haircut is different album era album of Skrillex.
Is that his actual haircut?
I hope. I don't think it is, but maybe his next show just you can get a nice shot of the back of his head and see if he has little extensions in. That'd be sick.
Camera behind him.
What is like the hairstyle? It's not like it's not like dreads, right?
It's like he did his half shaved thing.
Yeah,
Back like 10 years ago.
yeah.
Or more than that.
That was like Jack
then
Hughes Skrillex, right?
Now, but like, well, his hair wasn't long before. I don't think so.
Yeah, but then he grew a beard and looked like a dad for a little bit, you know. In his Afro era, he was wearing a lot of hats and and ponytails. So we shall see what this era of Skrillex brings fashion wise.
Talking about Night Punk, who's just like I think he's newer relatively to Skrillex, but I think he's like one of the few guys out there that I'd say is like equal in terms of production chops and just like his unique way of like thinking about bass music and stuff. That's probably my top set at Electric Forest to catch this year. It's like I haven't seen Night Punk like do many solo sets in the US or on like major festivals. So I think it's cool that Forest brought him in. I think this would be a fun one. So
Didn't we see Night Punk with ISOXO at Chop Shop?
Yeah, I don't think we caught the full set though.
Was he before ISOXO?
He had to be.
Okay.
that's so cool. Wait, when was that? When did Night Punk open for Ice?
Was it a Chop Shop?
2022.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Julian, if you wanna plug anything else to our 21 subscribers we have, feel free. You have a bigger following than we do. Do you have anything else going?
We hit them all nail on the head, but if you're in Chicago, June 26th, Saturday, I'll be spinning for Club Capri. Tickets sell out pretty fast, and so come through. You can hang out with us.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Jonah, you be there?
Yeah, we'll be there.
I'll be there as well. So yeah, shout out to Julian. Thanks for coming out, man. I think this
It's just so much fun.
was a good time. Got to talk about a lot of fun stuff. So thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this is the Burnout Report. See you guys next time.
Thanks for listening.
Yep.
See ya.
Love you, Becca.